it's after us.
Imagine a time when aliens ruled the silver screen. The 1950s. Back when tinfoil spaceships and rubber-suited monsters sent chills down everyone's spine. Today, we're diving into 20 incredible invasion movies that shaped how we think about extraterrestrials. From body-snatching parasites to giant antimatter space birds, these films captured our deepest fears and wildest imaginations. Some might look cheesy now, but trust me, they changed sci-fi forever. So grab your popcorn, keep your eyes on the skies, and let's explore these classic alien encounters that still influence movies today. The Day the Earth Stood Still, 1951, changed everything about how we view aliens in movies. Picture this, a massive flying saucer landing right in the middle of Washington, D.C. Out steps Klaatu, looking just like a regular human, but with this incredible message about peace. And then there is Gort, this towering robot that could literally melt tanks with his I-beam. I remember watching this with my dad on our old black and white TV, hiding behind a pillow whenever Gort appeared. The special effects might look simple now, but they were groundbreaking back then. The message about nuclear weapons and world peace was way ahead of its time. That famous phrase, Klaatu Barada Nikto, became like a secret handshake among sci-fi fans. Even today, I get chills hearing those words. War of the Worlds, 1953, brought pure terror to American screens. Those Martian machines with their snake-like necks and pulsing death rays haunted my dreams for years. The sound they made, that electronic howling noise, became the standard for alien sound effects. Gene Barry playing Dr. Clayton Forrester brought such intensity to his role. Remember that scene where the first Martian machine rises from the crater? Pure cinema magic. The effects team used copper models for the alien ships, and honestly, they still look amazing today. I watched this during a thunderstorm once, and let me tell you, every lightning flash had me checking the windows for those three-legged fighting machines. The scenes of mass panic in the streets felt terrifyingly real, especially with those heat rays vaporizing everything in sight.
And the same incredible terror that's menacing me will strike at you!
A malevolent thing was happening to those he...
Invasion of the Body Snatchers, 1956, is the kind of movie that makes you question everyone around you. Dr. Miles Bennell discovers something terrifying. His small town's residents are being replaced by exact duplicates grown in giant alien pods. The genius of this film is how it plays with your mind. These pod people look exactly like your friends and family, but something is just off. I remember watching this at my first sleepover, and we spent the whole night checking if anyone was acting strange. The scene where they find the first pod person duplicate is pure nightmare fuel. Director Don Siegel created this perfect atmosphere of paranoia and suspense. Even the happy ending they added could not shake off that creepy feeling. When someone acts weird now, we still joke about pod people. Drop a comment below and tell me, which of these movies actually gave you the creeps? Let us keep this conversation going.
What do you want with me?
Arrange for your world.
See the saucer man's high-frequency disintegrator.
Earth versus the Flying Saucers, 1956, showcases the incredible special effects genius of Ray Harryhausen. Those detailed flying saucers spinning through the skies and crashing into Washington, D.C. landmarks. Absolutely mind-blowing. I remember building my own saucer models out of paper plates and tin foil after watching this. The sound design team created this unique humming noise for the UFOs that became the standard for how we imagine flying saucers should sound. Hugh Marlowe plays Dr. Russell Marvin perfectly, bringing real scientific credibility to the story. The scene where they discover how to fight back against the aliens using high-frequency sound waves had me experimenting with my dad's old radio equipment for weeks. And that climactic battle at the Capitol building? Pure movie magic that holds up even today. Every time I visit DC, I look up at the monuments and imagine those saucers flying around.
Between guided meteors and deadly rays.
But your own.
This Island Earth, 1955, brings us the unforgettable Metaluna mutant with its exposed brain and insect-like claws. The gorgeous Technicolor effects made this movie stand out from other black and white sci-fi films of the era. Jeff Morrow plays Cal Meacham, a scientist who gets recruited by mysterious aliens for what he thinks is an advanced research project. The interstellar scenes, with their vibrant colors and that amazing spacecraft design, blew my mind as a kid. I tried to recreate the Interocitor communication device using cardboard boxes and Christmas lights. The scenes on the dying planet Metaluna, with its mutant creatures and atmospheric special effects, created this amazing sense of alien wonder. Even the cheesy dialogue has this charming quality that makes the movie endlessly rewatchable.
Who were the all-powerful creatures it brought from outer space?
It Came from Outer Space, 1953, delivers desert mysteries and shape-shifting aliens that still hold up today. Based on a Ray Bradbury story, this movie takes place in Arizona, where strange lights in the sky lead to disappearing townspeople. Richard Carlson plays John Putnam, who discovers a crashed alien spacecraft in the desert. The way the movie handles the aliens, not as invaders, but as accidental visitors, was revolutionary for its time. I actually visited Arizona years later just because of this movie, and those desert scenes felt exactly like what I imagined alien territory would look like. The special effects team created these amazing floating eye creatures using practical effects that still look creepy today. The scene where the aliens take human form still gives me chills. That blank stare is nightmare material. Share your favorite alien design in the comments. Are you team Metaluna mutant or those creepy eye creatures? Let us know.
Gotta see the chief right away. Hi. Who are you?
Invaders from Mars, 1953, introduced one of the creepiest concepts in sci-fi: aliens controlling people through neck implants. Young David McLean wakes up one night to see a flying saucer disappear into a sandpit behind his house. Then everyone around him starts acting strange, including his own parents. The movie perfectly captures a child's perspective of alien invasion. Those sandpits terrified me so much that I avoided walking on sand for months. The Martian leader, with that weird gold fishbowl head, became one of the most iconic alien designs ever. Director William Cameron Menzies created these amazing tilted sets and weird angles that make everything feel like a nightmare. The police chief's emotionless face still haunts me. It's that blank stare that tells you something is terribly wrong. And those underground tunnels, pure nightmare fuel. Remember to ring that notification bell to catch all our upcoming classic sci-fi reviews. The Thing from Another World, 1951, brings the terror of isolation and paranoia to an Arctic research station. When the team discovers a crashed flying saucer in the ice, they accidentally thaw out something that should have stayed frozen. James Arness plays the alien creature, a super intelligent carrot man who can reproduce himself using blood from other life forms. Kenneth Tobey as Captain Hendry brings this perfect mix of military authority and human vulnerability. The scene where they form a circle to electrocute the creature had me on the edge of my seat. My dad and I watched this during a snowstorm once, which made it 10 times scarier. The constant wind howling outside the station creates this incredible atmosphere of isolation. Even today, those confined corridor scenes make me claustrophobic.
This town is in...
The Blob, 1958, stars Steve McQueen in his first leading role, fighting against a gelatinous alien creature that keeps growing bigger and bigger. The genius of this movie is how it starts small, just a tiny meteorite with something inside. Then it builds and builds until this massive red blob is oozing through a movie theater. I never felt safe in movie theaters after watching this as a kid. The scene where the blob squeezes through the projection booth window is pure horror gold. They used silicone and red dye for the blob effects, and somehow it looks more convincing than modern CGI. That catchy theme song, Beware of the Blob, stuck in my head for weeks. Every time I see Jell-O, I think about this movie. Drop a comment below. Which movie monster scared you the most? The shape-shifting carrot man, the growing blob, or those mind-controlling Martians? Let us know. Target Earth, 1954, gives us one of the creepiest scenarios, waking up to find your entire city completely empty. 4 survivors discover Chicago has been evacuated while they were sleeping, and now killer robots from Venus are roaming the streets. The tension builds perfectly as they try to figure out what happened. I used to imagine what I would do if I woke up to an empty city. Probably raid the candy store first, right? The robot designs were actually pretty advanced for the time, with this cool metallic finish that made them look truly alien. Richard Denning plays Frank Brooks with this perfect mix of determination and fear. The scene where they first spot a robot through a foggy street still gives me chills. The sound those mechanical invaders made, this deep, grinding noise, became the blueprint for how movie robots should sound.
Bela Lugosi, the seductive vampira, and 4 bullets bounce off.
Plan 9 from Outer Space, 1959, is famous for being, well, not exactly Oscar material, but that is exactly why we love it. Ed Wood's passion project features alien invaders trying to stop humans from creating a doomsday weapon by raising the dead. The flying saucers are clearly paper plates on strings, the tombstones wobble when touched, and the famous Bela Lugosi footage was filmed before he passed away for a completely different movie. But you know what? There is something magical about its earnest attempt at greatness. I host yearly viewing parties where we count the visible strings and continuity errors. The aliens' logic makes absolutely no sense. Why raise the dead to stop humans from making a weapon that could destroy the universe?
He'll kill everyone. We've got to stop them!
Easy, Dougie.
Killers from Space, 1954, stars Peter Graves as Dr. Douglas Martin, who experiences a mysterious plane crash and returns with a strange gap in his memory and weird surgical scars. Those bug-eyed aliens in their black leotards are both hilarious and somehow creepy at the same time. The underground alien base scenes, with their bizarre giant insects and lizards, were actually just footage of regular animals projected onto a large screen. I tried recreating the alien eyes for Halloween using ping pong balls. Did not work out quite as planned. The scene where Dr. Martin escapes through the underground tunnels had me holding my breath, even though those aliens look like they are wearing pajamas. The movie's atomic power plot was super relevant to 1950s audiences. Hey sci-fi fans, quick question. Which of these movies do you think deserves a modern remake? Would you keep the charming practical effects or go full CGI? Share your thoughts in the comments below.
Classics, but it also gave us a lot of massive flops, lousy cash grab right from the start.
The Beast with a Million Eyes, 1955, is one of those movies that promises more than it shows, but that is part of the fun. Despite never actually seeing a beast with a million eyes, this movie delivers on psychological terror. The story follows a family living in a remote desert date farm when an alien force starts controlling animals and weak-minded humans. The scenes of birds attacking people came way before Hitchcock's The Birds. I remember watching this at my grandparents' farm. Big mistake. Could not look at their chickens the same way for weeks. The family dog turning against them really got to me because I had a similar looking pet. Director David Kramarski created this creepy atmosphere with minimal special effects, proving sometimes what you do not see is scarier than what you do. That weird alien teapot spacecraft, though, pure 1950s creativity.
There's our cosmic man.
Atomic plants.
I am here.
The Cosmic Man, 1959, feels like a friendlier version of The Day the Earth Stood Still. A mysterious glowing sphere appears near a small town, and out comes John Carradine as this peaceful alien trying to help humanity. The twist? He is invisible most of the time. I used to practice walking around my house trying to be as mysterious as the Cosmic Man. The scenes where he appears in that glowing suit fascinated me, achieved with simple light effects that somehow still look cool today. The philosophical discussions about humanity's future might go over kids' heads, but they really make you think. Every time I see a strange light in the sky now, I think maybe it is just the Cosmic Man coming back to check on us. The military's paranoid reaction feels so true to the era.
Mars, into the same orbit as the Earth?
Very well.
Satan's Satellites, 1958, is actually a recut version of a Commando Cody serial. But what a wild ride it is. Rocket-powered hero with a leather jacket and helmet fighting alien invaders? Sign me up. The flying sequences used pretty creative wire work. I tried recreating them by jumping off our garage with an umbrella. My mom was not happy about that. The alien leader, wearing that weird rubber mask and cape, became my go-to Halloween costume one year. Those radar-jamming satellites might seem simple now, but in the 1950s, this was cutting-edge sci-fi. The ray gun battles and rocket ship chases are pure retro joy. Every kid wanted one of those rocket packs after seeing this movie. The aliens' plan to control Earth's weather seems especially relevant today. Taking a quick break, tell us in the comments about your craziest attempt to recreate movie special effects as a kid. We promise not to judge.
Get back! Shoot, man!
Devil Girl from Mars, 1954, shows that alien invasion is not just a guy's game. Patricia LaFawn plays Naya, this leather-clad Martian woman who comes to Earth looking for male specimens to help repopulate Mars. The movie was clearly made on a shoestring budget, but that robot Chani, looking like a walking refrigerator, has become a cult classic. I tried making a Chani costume using cardboard boxes. Worked better than my Satan's Satellites rocket pack attempt. The scenes in the remote Scottish inn create this amazing isolated atmosphere. The philosophical discussions about gender roles were pretty progressive for the 1950s. That Martian spaceship design, like an electric stove turned sideways, is so wonderfully retro. Every time I see someone in leather pants, I joke about them being from Mars.
Weightlessness or dread anoxia lure him beyond all human far more than science knows or conjectures.
First Man into Space, 1959, takes a different approach to the alien threat. What if we become the monsters? When test pilot Dan Prescott flies too high in his experimental rocket, he returns as something not quite human. Marshall Thompson plays his brother who tries to help him while protecting others from what he has become. The transformation scenes, showing Dan covered in this weird cosmic material, gave me nightmares for weeks. I could not look at my mom's mineral collection without thinking about space mutations. The practical effects team created this amazing crusty makeup that still looks disturbing today. The scene where he stalks through the night looking for blood is pure horror gold. Who knew calcium could be so terrifying? The movie really captures that fear of the unknown in space exploration. The Mysterians, 1957, brought Japanese sci-fi excellence to the alien invasion genre. These dome-helmeted aliens show up claiming they need a small piece of Earth to rebuild their civilization. But you know how these things go. They actually want to breed with Earth women and take over. The special effects team at Toho Studios outdid themselves with massive robot battles and colorful ray gun fights. I spent weeks trying to draw those amazing Mysterian spaceships in my school notebooks. Their domed headquarters rising from the ground still looks incredible today. Director Ishiro Honda brought the same epic scale he used in Godzilla movies. Those Mogera robots crushing cities are pure destruction poetry. The scene where the Mysterians reveal their true faces shocked me so much I dropped my popcorn everywhere. Every time I see a dome building now, I get a little suspicious. If you are loving this deep dive into vintage sci-fi, give this video a thumbs up and hit subscribe.
Comes from outer space.
It's catching up with us fast.
The Giant Claw, 1957, might have one of the weirdest alien monsters ever. A giant antimatter space buzzard. Yes, you heard that right. Jeff Morrow plays Mitch McAfee, who spots this massive bird-like creature, but nobody believes him at first. The special effects? Well, let's just say they are memorable. That puppet bird became infamous for looking more goofy than scary. But there's something charming about its wild design. I remember making my own version with papier-mâché for a school project. The scenes of it attacking planes and buildings are unintentionally hilarious. The scientific explanation for the creature being protected by an antimatter force field sounds so wonderfully 50s. Every time I see a regular buzzard now, I imagine it supersized with that weird puppet face. Drop a comment below. What's the strangest alien design you've ever seen in a movie? Can anything beat our antimatter space buzzard? Well, fellow space cadets, that wraps up our journey through the golden age of alien invasion films. From rubber suits to flying saucers, these movies still capture our imagination today. Keep those eyes on the skies, smash that subscribe button, and tell me your favorite alien encounter in the comments below.